Hey, welcome back. I'm Amy Lewis. I'm the owner of the Mooeys Group. There we go. I am here with another question. So, how do I deal with a legal claim against one of my therapists or my business? I do want to answer this because I've had a legal claim in my business, and I think it's really important for salon owners to understand how to deal with it the best possible way. Now, we are seeing more and more legal claims in the beauty industry. A lot of them are driven by laser, where it's done incorrectly. A lot of them also are driven by wax, and this is quite. I'm quite passionate about this, and this is why I created hot wax training, hot wax conversion, because so many legal claims are coming from people being grazed. And I really wanted to help the industry and stop using strip wax on the face, because you're just putting yourself at risk. You're just putting yourself at risk for more claims. However, I will tell you about the legal claim that I had. So she had had some skin taken off, like at the epidermis, it peeled. You know, when the strip wax peels the top layer of the skin, and she'd had like, I would say probably like 1.5 inches maybe of skin taken off the front of her shin. Now, she sent us a picture when, like, about 2 days after her wax. She sent us a picture. She had what we call a full Monty, so it's everything. She was a new client to us, and she had, this full Monty treatment. So when we saw this picture, we were like mortified, obviously, as anybody is. Any good business owner would be mortified. We apologised. It was very clearly something that had happened in our salon. So there was, in the olden days, we used to say, don't admit liability, don't admit that you've done anything wrong. It doesn't work like that anymore, because you have to have some sort of ownership. You can't say that never happened in our salon, prove it, off you go. Like, that's what happens on TV. That's not real life. So if you have done something in your salon, if that has happened, like it was very clearly a wax, like graze, you know, where this strip wax had taken off her skin. So we had to admit it. So we actually gave her a full refund of her treatment. We don't want clients to experience that in our salon. Now, in 11 years, this is the only claim that I've ever had. What I wanted to do as a manager was figure out why it had happened. Now, there's a few reasons. It would be that the wax is too cold. It could be that the client had been on a sunbed beforehand or been in a sauna and steam. So I needed to check my consultation forms and check that they were good enough and asking the right questions. This happened probably about 2 years before COVID. So yeah, a long time ago now. So I needed to check that the therapist had she obviously had the right qualifications, but has she had the right training? Was she experienced enough? There was lots of questions I needed to ask. However, we were at fault. There was no doubt about it. We had done something wrong for her skin to come off in her wax service. So we apologised, we gave her a refund, we never heard any more from her until we got a lovely legal dispute coming through my door. Now, this is where your insurance is so important, because there's so many businesses out there, so many beauty businesses, and especially nail bars and places like that don't have insurance. And that is really risky, not only for the business but for the clients, because if they have hurt themselves in your business, then they should be allowed to claim. So this claim came through, and I am with Professional Beauty Insurance. I always have been. And I got connected with the solicitor that was looking after the case. His name was Tom, and he was amazing. And he said, so, just so you know, lucky for you, the insurance company that you've got are the kind of insurance company that like to fight a little bit, and they're not just going to roll over and pay out. So we're in for a good ride, you know, like solicitors will find things like this enjoyable. Others, like, they wouldn't do doing their job, right? So he said, let's get really curious. Let's figure out what's happened, because there is a claim here, but what she's claiming for is permanent damage. So let's see, you know, if it's permanent damage. So the first thing we'll do is ask for another photo a few months later and see if the permanent damage is there, which there wasn't. because we know the skin heals itself. So because it wasn't, and there was no permanent damage, the claim value went down a little bit. And he said, okay, so what else now? If you're the beauty expert, you're the waxing expert, what now is the next step? And I said, well, I think there's 2 reasons for this happening. It'll either be the wax is too cold, but the therapist that done this treatment is super experienced. She's a very, very good therapist. So I'd be surprised if the wax was too cold. But also she wouldn't have got a very good result. And the lady's hair free. So, you know, it's quite a good sign that she's had a good wax service. And I said, which means that her skin is thinner. So first of all, we need to check if there's any medication that she's on. Can you ask for doctor's notes? He said, well, legal claims, you can pretty much ask for anything. I don't think we had to go down that route, because I said to him also, I had the consultation, I used Forest booking system, and I had a brilliant consultation form. The only thing I didn't have on that consultation form was use of sunbeds. So if you are doing waxing, this is a long time ago, so, you know, lessons learned, please use my lesson and make sure you've got sunbed use on your consultation form. We didn't have it on there. And he said, okay, so we can't prove it. She has said yes or no. And he said, so what would you have done if it was on your consultation form? And I said, I would have, if she'd have had a sunbed in the last 24 hours, I would have refused to do the treatment. And he said, why is that? And I said, because it can damage the epidermis, it can make it thinner, and the skin kind of feels a bit, not looser, but you've got a much more likelihood of skin, like epidermal removal. And he was like, that's interesting. Maybe we could ask for bank statements to see if this lady had been to any sunbeds in the last 24 hours. And I was like, what? Can we do that? He's like, yeah, sure. So we done that, and it reduced the claim down because she'd been on a sunbed. Now, not only that, she'd been on a sunbed, but she was on holiday, because the picture had been like the tan, the where the skin had come off was darker than the skin around it. So she was quite fair skinned, but where the skin had been removed was darker than the rest of it. And I said, well, she's tanning, you know, she's on holiday. And the therapist did remember her saying she was going on holiday, but she'd gone on holiday and the skin had tanned, which is why it showed up so much, because it was fresh, you know. But that in our aftercare, it said that she can't, you know, don't go in the sun. But I think she'd obviously gone in the sun straight away. So there was some sort of, you know, legal claim that she was entitled to because the skin had been removed. However, there was also some other points that needed to be factored in. So that claim was reduced massively. But that insurance covered it. My insurance did go up afterwards. However, not massively. But I learned so much about legal claims and how it works. And not every company will work like that. Some companies will just pay out, some insurance companies will just pay out and then hike your insurance up, and then that's it. When actually, you know, Professional Beauty were amazing. They said, no, we're going to see if we can fight this a little bit and reduce the claim. We'll pay out. I didn't pay anything in claims. I didn't have to pay any. It's not like car insurance where I had to pay like a minimum amount and then they top up. So yeah, it was a really great lesson. But my advice to you is, if it happens, don't panic straight away. First of all, find out how your insurance company deals with it. And then secondly, like, what have you done wrong? What has gone wrong in the salon? What can you own up to? What is it that you can learn from? Because sometimes if you just avoid, it takes longer. Like, if someone's claiming, if people are claiming, it's generally done by no win, no fee solicitors. If they think they can get some money for that person and themselves, because they get at least 30%, of that claim. So if they think they can win, then they'll pursue it. If it goes to court, they're not going to want to pursue it because it's going to cost them more than the claim. Majority of claims are done by no win, no fee. So they need to believe that they're in for a chance of basically insurance companies just rolling over and paying. If there was a bit of a fight, they would generally just take the offer that's given. And sometimes it could go to court and you can prove that you're not in the wrong, because maybe it didn't actually happen. Maybe you weren't in the wrong. Maybe that client is completely at fault. I don't know what the circumstances are, but it happens, and it's not a great thing that happens. I remember at Centre Parks there was a therapist that was suing Centre Parks but still working there. And she was right in her right to claim, because she'd fallen over some steps and she'd done permanent damage to herself that's going to be detrimental to her career and stuff. But she was still employed by Centre Parks, still working there, because they can't discipline her, obviously, because she's she's hurt herself in the business. So yeah, there's loads of different reasons and circumstances. But most clients, if you admit that you've done something wrong, apologise, rectify it, refund, things like that, it might not even go to a lawsuit. It's when that you become difficult. It's when that you try and avoid and refuse or don't want to admit anything. Most of our clients, 99% of our clients, are incredible humans that they don't want something like this going on. But a lot of the time, if you own up and look at what you've done wrong and how you can improve it, show that integrity that we all spout on about, but actually show it in your actions, it can go a long, long way. I hope that helps. And if you do have a legal claim and you are stressing about it, then find yourself a great business coach that can help you through it. Thanks.